I don't know of a single experienced designer who works at a company in-house who is energized by their work. They've all arrived at some sort of trade-off analysis and they're like, yeah, it's good enough. And I think to me, that's an indication that design might not be necessary as a full-time role within those companies, because they end up doing less that they're capable of, kind of parking in those companies and getting only a subset of what their output could be. And that subset is usually enough for that company. I've shifted my career to focus on early stage companies, but the other part of the shift has been to function on a fractional level, where I work with many clients at once and they get a portion, a fraction of my attention. And my argument is that fraction is more than enough that they need. They don't need my full attention. And it would be more costly than is necessary. And I think, I don't know if that's true of everyone, but I find that it works really well for me. And there could be a world where designers are not embedded within their companies in-house, and instead they serve multiple clients, multiple companies or teams, and they kind of get deployed when the company needs or the team needs design thinking, and then retract it when they don't. I think that's possible, especially with the advent of AI, where all these roles are becoming redundant. I think that's a good thing. I think that there's going to be more designers working on more things rather than designers part within a single company for a decade. I like to embrace that and think that there is a potentially better future where, as a designer, you get to work on more problems at once in slightly different ways. And I personally think that's a more exciting way to work than focusing on a single problem for 10 years. I think the traditional triad is at risk as well. This idea of like engineer, product manager, and a designer paired together to work on something. I think that is an archaic idea, and the newer companies are challenging that notion. Companies like the browser company, they have product engineers, right? We've heard about design engineers and prototypers, like blending of those lines that in turn, I think over time will obviate one or a couple of those roles, whether it's designers or engineers or product managers. I think the atomic unit is going to be different 10 years from now than it is today, probably smaller than it is today. Which I find all this exciting. I gravitate towards change. I'm an immigrant. I've moved a lot in my life. I deeply believe that the status quo is not what it needs to be, and there will be pretty seismic changes over the next 10 years. And I find that really exciting. I find that really energizing. If you told me that 10 years from now, we're going to be doing the same thing that we're doing right now, that makes me sad. So I think design industry will look differently in 5-10 years than it does today. And it will likely mean that designers need to change, period, but also change how they relate with companies, what tools they use, what their role is will evolve. So I'm excited about that.